Hey everybody, this is Somni Respiratory Flux, or call me Flux for short, or whatever you want to call me. Just know who you're calling, who you're gonna call what. I was trying to make a Ghostbusters reference there and I failed. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, in the last episode we had a close call where I say almost, but it wasn't really that close. But we are escaping the space pirate fortress, and fortress is not the right word, really. I guess research facility. And well, okay, that's just rude. But basically, things are getting a little difficult. Whoa. I think it went haywire. There weren't Metroids here last time, I don't believe. So best be careful about that. Now this is actually going to get to something else. This thing was made of cordite, it said. Okay. Well, I'll just do that. Super missiles can break cordite. So that's how you're supposed to get through those kinds of obstacles. Now, there's a shadow pirate. They are supposed to be sensitive to electrical attacks, so that's going to do away being. I don't know why I'm just being so bland about everything, because I actually really wanted to record, because it's been a few days. It's been a few days since I last recorded, because I don't know, I just haven't had the good opportunity to yet. That's a lie. I've had opportunities, I just have not used them. So I'm lazy. We all knew this. I don't even need to technically do anything about these guys. It's just a matter of... Okay. Not exactly sure when I went through that door. It looked a little strange to me. But it doesn't matter. What does matter is the fact that we are... Oh, okay, that door is already opened. We are, as far as the power outage being concerned, we are out. And now, yeah, that. I suppose I could have done all that in the last video, but I don't know. I didn't quite feel like it. I'm gonna jump over here to this save point real quick, because even though I still have plenty of health, that small chunk missing worried me, because what we're going to go do next can be kind of difficult. Now, there are a bunch of things we could do in other parts of Phendrana Drifts and other parts of the game, even, with now that we have the thermal visor and super missiles. But behind that wall hanging, there's a power conduit, like it said in the scan. But to get to it, we have to use a super missile. Don't even really need to use the thermal visor, just shoot it with the wave beam and the door will unlock. But yeah, since I'm not really going to have a whole lot of time to chit-chat, I guess I might as well do that now, because yeah, this next part can be a little daunting. Yeah, it's been a fairly slow few days for me, mostly. Not sure how I managed to avoid getting hit there. That was all I really had time to say, because we are where we're going. This is what the game calls the quarantine cave. This is part of the space pirate facility still, actually. So obviously they have something in here that they want to keep contained. Where do you think it is? Maybe it's underneath that large pile of rocks or something? Who knows? Well, I know. And what I do know is that the rocks are, in fact, what they're keeping contained. This is Thardus, one of the stranger bosses of this game, in all senses of it, I would say. And one of the ones I remember being more frustrated with when I was younger as well. An animated sentient creature of stone charged with phazon radiation. So basically, they exposed phazon to rocks and it became alive. Or something. Don't question the biology of it. Negates auto-targeting systems, preventing lock-on. May be possible to acquire alternate targets with a different visor. Instability and its structural integrity. Case targets in ice and its colossal size and strength make it a formidable opponent. Basically, what you need to do, you need to put on your thermal visor, and part of it is highlighted as having a very high thermal signature compared to the rest of it, which is, well, cold, dead stone. Also, it can send projectiles at you, which, despite looking like they're made of ice, also have marked as a very, I don't know. Okay. And if you damage its weak spots enough... Okay, actually they're not made of ice, they're just rocks with phazon in the middle of them. If you damage its weak spot enough, it'll overload your thermal visor, forcing you to switch to your regular visor, but fortunately when it does that... Okay. When it does that, it has... its weak spot becomes visible and targetable in the regular scheme. It's vision. It's whatever. But... yes, so basically it's a matter of switching between visors, shooting the weak spots, and lather, rinse, repeat. Now, the thing about this is annoying, you might have noticed before. That, too. If you shoot the projectiles it sends out at you, it'll also temporarily overload your thermal visor, although that will go away with time. If it's overloaded like that, you have to destroy the weak spot in standard combat visor mode in order for it to not be overloaded. And I just realized that it's because phazon itself overloads the visor, because it has that high of an energy signature or something. And also, this thing will roll around, not quite at the speed of sound, but it will basically try and roll you over from time to time. Yes, indeed, Bob Dylan would probably not be specifically proud, or lack thereof. He would probably be indifferent. But he is very annoying to get out of the way of when he does this, because it makes you switch to morph ball mode and run for the hills. By the hills, I mean the nooks and crannies on the edges of the arena that are easy to hide in. And even those aren't foolproof. And also, he's a lot harder to hit. Even if you get a good vantage point on him while he's in ball mode, it's a lot harder to actually hit his weak points when he's all curled up around them. Also, why am I getting hit by his ice so much? The one thing that makes this fight a little easier is if you can get good health pickups from shooting his projectiles, but that's not always the easiest thing to do when you're trying to not get hit by them as well. Although it's an easy way to not get hit by them, to be fair. Anyway. But yeah, I remember times when I was fighting this boss, and it gave me so much trouble as a kid because I just wasn't good enough to do it. Oh. This isn't a separate scan, but I think partway through the fight he does that. I don't actually remember that being a thing. Maybe I'm just bad at remembering. Oh, he summons basically a blizzard to make it harder to see him. Doesn't affect your thermal visor, but when you have to use your combat visor, it does have an effect. Very... Okay. That combination of my thermal visor being overloaded and being frozen kind of made it hard to do anything. Yeah. Yeah, I remember having times when it was difficult to fight this thing. I'd die over and over again. Probably because I'm playing like an idiot, like I am now. And it would just basically... And now you see some of his head is the weak point now. Yeah, it would just have you playing this over and over again. I specifically remember a couple times when I was using we have a GameCube screen. Basically, just plugs into the GameCube's AV thing and attaches to the top of it. So it basically just becomes a screen attached to the system. We had that so that we could play so that my sister and I could play GameCube games wherever rather than needing a TV, which is generally the purpose for a device like that, I suppose. But I remember a couple times I was just sitting upstairs at the kitchen table, not doing anything, just sitting there because that was a convenient place to sit, I guess. But wow. And I would be fighting this thing several times in a row, never succeeding. Well, until I eventually did. I think that was actually the first time I tried to fight this thing, and it took me so many times to do. Plus, it's just a tedious fight even if you're doing it the right way, which I fortunately seem to be mostly managing. But, so yeah, I have some memories of this guy. I also remember when I used that screen, sometimes I would use that in the car. And, okay, now he's taking the blizzard away. Okay. I don't know. Now his main body is the weak point. Now, sir, you need to learn some manners. But we had that screen and just plug it into the what used to be known as the cigarette lighter on the car, but now nobody actually uses it to power cigarette lighters because smoking in the car is generally considered not a great idea. Generally. I mean, people who smoke probably still smoke in the car plenty. But you know what I'm trying to say. But, sir, stop launching yourself at me. Okay, and now almost done. But yeah, that screen was kind of nice because whenever we took a car trip, we would I could just play the GameCube games whenever I was sitting in the car. And of course, then we got a Game Boy player, and for some reason I like to use those two things in conjunction with each other and use my GameCube to play Game Boy games in the car. In hindsight, that was a pretty silly idea, but I guess I was just amused by the novelty of it all. Game Boy Player is kind of a marvelous invention in hindsight, really. And we've defeated him. And this is actually kind of one of the weirder aspects of this weird boss fight. Other than Samus being slightly peeved at getting hit in the back of the head with that. Now, there's no extra missile things in there anyway, but what this boss fight gives us, other than it rolling around in a ball, it doesn't really have much of anything to do with him, really. Spider Ball acquired. Basically, if you hold the R button while in Morph Ball form, you'll magnetize yourself and be able to roll on tracks such as these. Dropping a bomb and letting it explode next to you will briefly lift you from the track, although for now that's not as important a thing to need to remember. Now, you can roll back up the track to get out to where you were before, or we can head over here. There's a grapple point that we can't use to get over to a ledge we can't get to yet. That's for later, I guess. But now that we can get through here, let's go on and see what we can find. I have to say, though, I like the general look of the Spider Ball. Doesn't really say much about its abilities, but it looks cool, I guess. This takes us to an elevator. Spider Ball tracks up here to the door that we can't open yet. That's, again, Ice Beam. Which, given the guy's freezing powers and ability to inflict blizzards, you'd think that would be what it would give us, right? I don't know. I might just be looking too far into things. I can tend to do that. But as you saw from the elevator, now we're going to Magmore Caverns South. So we're going back underground, I suppose. Like I said, there's more things we can pick up in Phendrana now that we have some more abilities, but we'll be back there at some point anyway, so. Now here's a save room. It hasn't been an extremely long video, and I feel like recording more, so I'll keep going for a bit. Probably even record more than one episode tonight anyway, but yeah, there's a save room behind this elevator if you feel like hitting that. And this tunnel here will open up onto some flying pirates. Yeah. As I was saying, the Game Boy player, at the time, it was kind of a neat thing, and not so much of a massively important or useful thing. But in hindsight, it's actually a really neat invention, and really useful, especially to people like me who are interested in Let's Playing, because the Game Boy player, in and of itself, eliminates the need for any kind of specialized capture device for any kind of Game Boy games. You have the Game Boy cartridge and a capture card that can connect to a GameCube. You can record a Let's Play of anything for a Game Boy, which is kind of nice, as I've said. Now, we can't clear that obstruction, so this is a dead end for us. But yeah, it tends to make fairly decent recording quality too. I know specifically that on Chugga Conroy's LP of Pokemon Emerald, he used his Game Boy player to record that, and you can notice the borders on the entire project because of that. And it just works. I would probably use it for any kind of Game Boy projects myself. Now here's an energy tank. Let's say we try and figure out how to get that. Now this is a kind of a long and winding road. Dun 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 dun. Okay, that was kind of horribly butchered. But oh, I killed that one without even meaning to. Well, I meant to, but I wasn't trying to get that one yet. But anyway, you go under here, and you got all these pathways that are basically filled with lava. That's kind of a no-go, right? Well, if you scan these doorways, they seem to imply that there's something you can do here. The channel doors are sealed. But if you scan this, 3 nearby power conduits must be energized for it to open. Okay, they were copying and pasting. They forgot that this isn't a door. Good job, Retro Studios. I found the one place you screwed up in this entire game. So you know what that means? Thermal visor. Basically, the conduits are right next to the channel doors, so there's really no reason to use the thermal visor anymore once you see that, actually. I had forgotten, but they're also hidden behind these telltale vents, really, so. Wait, I think I'd actually managed to accidentally power on one of them anyway. Possibly. But yeah. So powering that on will open that door. I can't tell if there's a timer going off or not, because my audio is rather quiet. But if you roll through here, go here, scan this panel, and that will basically open the next path, and so on. I think you get the gist of this. So on and so forth. Yes, over here. It better not be a timer. I was I didn't think there was one, but you never know in games like this, really. I don't know. I don't know. I don't rightly know. Okay, that's right, because I need to go through this pathway, because this is what I'm even trying to get to anyway. And, well, now that we've got that energy tank, I'd say that seems like an episode to me, doesn't it? Anyway, I don't know. Respond, vibrate, feedback, and resonate in the comments below. And this machine is passing straight through me. This machine is just not the strongest part of this game, is it? My. The respawn, vibrate, feedback, and resonate in the comments below. I will see you next episode, where I will probably still be standing on top of this machine and laughing about it. Because, oh my god, what the heck? What?